It began with a shout. Hands where I can see them now. The diner stilled in an instant. Forks hovered midair. Conversations died on people's lips. Even the clink of cutlery seemed to freeze in time. At the corner booth, an elderly black man raised his eyes slowly from his newspaper. Calm, steady, unshaken. Two white police officers stormed inside. Their uniforms were crisply pressed, their boots heavy on the checkered tile floor. Chairs scraped out of their way as they pushed toward the back. The older of the two, a barrel-chested sergeant named Craig Donnelly, barked, "You! Get up! You fit the description." The man blinked slowly, then reached for a carved wooden cane that rested beside him in the booth. "Son," he said with a voice deep and composed, "I think you've got the wrong guy." But Sergeant Donnelly didn't care. "I said get up now, or I'll drag you out myself." The younger cop, Officer Tyler Graves, already had a pair of cuffs in his hand. His jaw was tight, his eyes jittery with adrenaline, eager for conflict. The man they were shouting at was Mr. Elijah Freeman, age 74. Everyone in the neighborhood knew him. He came to this very diner every Tuesday at the same time, ordered coffee with 2 sugars and a plate of warm cornbread. Always alone, always polite. He was quiet, respectful, and well-loved by every waitress who'd ever served him. But this Tuesday was different. Without warning, Donnelly grabbed Elijah by the arm and shoved him hard against the wall, knocking over a napkin holder in the process. Phones came out. A teenage girl near the window had already started recording. "That's Mr. Freeman," she whispered. "He's a vet. He got a Purple Heart." The officers weren't interested in backstories. Graves slapped the cuffs around Elijah's wrists with practice force. The older man winced, pain flashing across his face as his shoulder, badly injured decades ago in the jungles of Vietnam, was forced behind his back. But he didn't yell. He didn't resist. He just looked Donnelly in the eye and said, "You boys are making a big mistake. Grabes es mirquez. What's the matter, huh? You hiding something? Got warrants? Carrying drugs?" Elijah shook his head. "No, son. I've got medals. And I've got a clean record that's older than both of you put together." They didn't care. They tossed his cane to the floor and dragged him outside to the squad car, treating him like a criminal, like a threat. Passers-by stared, unsure of what they were witnessing. A few people shouted, "Leave him alone," but the officers acted with impunity. They stuffed him into the back seat like baggage and slammed the door behind him. At the station, it only got worse. They didn't read him his rights. They didn't offer a phone call. Donnelly filled out a report claiming Elijah resisted arrest. Graves noted he fit the description of a robbery suspect black male, roughly 6 feet tall, wearing a navy jacket. That was it. No other similarities. Nothing to link him to any crime. They laughed about it in the break room. "That old guy was shaking like a leaf," Graves joked. "Looked like he hadn't run in 20 years. Donnelly chuckled. "Probably thinks he's still in Nam." Meanwhile, back at the diner, the teenager who had recorded the arrest posted the video online. Her caption was simple: "Local hero manhandled by cops. This is Elijah Freeman. Does anyone know him?" Within minutes, the video started gaining traction. 20 miles away, inside a quiet federal office lined with framed commendations and flags, a cell phone buzzed. A woman in a navy blazer, dark slacks, and black heels looked at the screen and froze. Her name was Lauren Hayes, and the moment she saw Elijah's face, she stood up from her desk and called for her team. Because Elijah Freeman wasn't just any old man. He was a decorated veteran who had served in Vietnam, Desert Storm, and even took part in early counterterrorism strategy sessions post 9/11. He had trained elite military units and consulted with top brass well into his 60s. And Lauren Hayes, now special director of the FBI's Civil Rights Division, had called him Uncle Eli since she was 6 years old. Back in the holding cell, Elijah sat on the bench, rubbing his wrist. He hadn't complained, hadn't begged or yelled. He simply waited. A young officer walking past his cell stopped to glance in. "You got any family, old man?" Elijah offered a thin smile. "I've got people," he said, "and they don't play games." The young officer scoffed and walked on, clueless. An hour later, 3 unmarked black SUVs pulled into the precinct parking lot. Out stepped federal agents, all dressed in dark suits and moving with a purpose. They walked through the doors of the station without hesitation. The receptionist looked up. "Can I help? Why?" Director Lauren Hayes flashed her badge. "FBI, where's Elijah Freeman?" The room tensed. Donnelly stepped forward, trying to act casual. "Who wants to know?" "I do," Lauren said coolly, her voice sharp as a blade. "He's my godfather." Donnelly's face lost color. His posture straightened. "We were just following protocol." He fit the description. "You arrested a 74-year-old veteran without a warrant, without cause, without reading his rights?" she snapped. "You're about to fit a description tough everything wrong with American policing." Behind her, one agent pulled the station's security footage. Another accessed the body cams. Within seconds, the whole timeline began unraveling. Lauren ignored Donnelly and Graves and walked straight to the holding area. She spotted Elijah behind the bars and her voice cracked. "Oncle Illy." He looked up and smiled, his voice gentle as ever. "Hey there, pumpkin." She reached through the bars and touched his hand. "Let's get you out of here." Turning to the officers, she said, "Open this door." Now. They fumbled with the keys, panic setting in. Elijah stepped out slowly, his movements stiff but steady. Lauren supported his elbow. "You all right?" "I've had worse," he said. "But these boys? They're about to have one hell of a morning." 30 minutes later, the precinct looked like a crime scene. FBI agents were stationed at every desk, combing through documents and digital files. Lauren stood in the briefing room, reading from a thick folder. "Sergeant Craig Donnelly. Officer Tyler Graves. You are now under federal investigation for unlawful arrest, use of excessive force, falsification of police records, and racial profiling." Donnelly opened his mouth. "Wait, this can't be real." "We thought." "You thought wrong," Lauren interrupted. "You targeted a man because of the color of his skin, not because of evidence." Graves backed toward the exit, but 2 agents blocked him. "I didn't mean to. I was doing what I was told." That excuse didn't fly 60 years ago. It sure as hell doesn't fly now. Outside, the world had found out. The video from the diner had gone viral. Local news vans lined the curb. Protesters gathered with handmade signs. "Justice for Elijah" and "Respect our veterans" filled the air. Older men in uniform stood at attention-decorated veterans who'd served with or known of Elijah over the years. The mayor arrived with the chief of police. Both gave stiff public apologies, recorded live by every network. "We failed, Mr. Freeman today," the mayor said, "and we are committed to making this right." But Elijah wasn't one for grandstanding. He stood calmly beside Lauren, watching the chaos with quiet dignity. "I don't want revenge," he told the cameras. "I just want the respect I've earned. That's all I've ever wanted." Still, justice had a way of showing up whether he wanted it or not. Donnelly and Graves were led out in cuffs, hand behind their backs. Their faces pale, their badges gone. Lauren looked at her godfather. "Come on, let's get you that cornbread." He chuckled softly. "And coffee. Don't forget the coffee." When they returned to the diner, the entire room stood and clapped. The waitstaff had reserved his booth. A fresh plate of cornbread and a steaming mug were already waiting. The teenager who filmed the video ran up and hugged him. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Freeman," she said. He patted her hand gently. "You did good, kid. You did real good." And that day, across America, people watched in real time what it meant to see a hero in handcuffs and what it looked like when justice came through the door wearing a badge that actually meant something.